Oh, shoot, I forgot to open the game. Okay, I forgot to open the game. Oops. That's okay. That's okay. This is gonna be scuffed anyway. Here we go. Hi, Echo. Hi, dear. How are you? Good to see you. Did you ever find your password? Nice. Okay. Let me know if the volume's too loud, too quiet. I'm gonna turn down just a little. You got Ethernet fixed. Nice, nice. Congrats on being first. Um, Hi, Thorn. Thank you for being here, dear. Okay. So I have to use the display capture for GHOSTPIA. Bear with me. You might see the activate Windows watermark. I apologize if it's super distracting. That's why my head's here. But the character portraits when they're talking is also in the corner there, so you can tell who's talking. If you can't see it, let me know, and I will move my head so you can see the little character portraits. Uh, yeah, we'll just get into it here. We're on chapter 3 of 5, I think. So we might finish it tonight, or we'll have another stream with it. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, hello everybody. Did you get to play Monster Hunter then, Echo? Did you get to play Monster Hunter? Hi Thorn, I hope we're doing alright, unless you're lurking. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, that's loud. Okay, cancel. Let me make sure it's capturing okay. Let me make sure my head's not in the way of anything. Okay, I think my head's okay. I think my head will be okay. I'll move it later, maybe. Okay. So, yeah, it looks like there's 5 episodes. Thank you for the alert, Thorn. Thank you, dear. So we already played through episode 1 and 2. So we're going to go with episode 3. So episode 1 and 2 took us about 3.5 hours. So we might finish it depending on how long these ones are. I suppose we'll just find out. So I have no idea what's going to happen from this point because we played the demo earlier. So we'll find out here. Konnichiwa, amigos. Let's see, is my head in the way? Let me check. Come on. Okay, my head is in the way. Alright, let me move it real quick. Let me move it. 1 second. I'm going to put myself right here. I'm putting myself right here. I shouldn't be in the way of anything down here. But you'll be able to see the Windows watermark, which is annoying. But hopefully it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I just want to be able to see, want you guys to be able to see who's talking. Alright, here we go. Konnichiwa, amigos. I'm pretty sure those are the first words she shouts upon running into my room. By she, I mean Yoru, and by I mean me. For a long, long time, so long that nobody even knows how long, the stone has had exactly 1,024 ghosts. And now we have a newcomer, Yoru, who's wandering about my room and looking at things curiously. Hi, Tyler. Hi, dear. How are you? Good to see you. Let me know if the game's too loud. That's pretty neat artwork. She keeps saying things like that. She seems interested in just about everything. What was that thing though? Was that thing always here? And is it even an artwork in the first place? Well, whatever. My ghost memory's never been reliable anyway. 3.5 chompers? That's quite a bit. If I'm a ghost now, does that mean I was once alive? Ghosts were alive at one point, right? I mean, that's being dead implies, doesn't it? Or are we born as ghosts, stuck here forever? But for what purpose? I wake up to the sound of chaotic snoring that sounds like a tank engine after someone tossed a sugar cube into the gas tank. Actually, I don't think I slept enough to say I woke up. You can't wake up if you were never asleep. But how are you, Tatter dear? It's good to see you. I hope we're doing alright. In the same way, you can't become a ghost if you don't die. It's been like this the whole time, even though it's almost morning. As a result, I'm tired all the time lately. Just a bit earlier, I could sleep as much as I wanted whenever I got sleepy, so this change is taking a toll. Yoru isn't a bad person, or a ghost, in my opinion. She probably treats me with warm love, or something like that. But it's a little suffocating for me. It's a little lonely to be completely isolated. Sometimes I want to see friends, but I feel more relaxed when I'm frozen in the cold, dark void. That's just my nature. This current situation is clearly uncomfortable for me, but I don't think I can get Yoru to understand my plight. It's way too warm in my bed right now. There's a girl sleeping next to me, taking in such deep breaths. My chest is in pain. But why? Let's try going to sleep again. I close my eyes. I think back to when we fled town, and that 32nd birthday party in the present. The problem is what happened afterward. When we woke up at the garbage dump, this is what Yoru said. So, where do I stay? My place is no good. It's dirty, small, and cold. You should stay in a more homely place like Pass's. Huh? That won't work. My house doubles as my workplace. You got empty rooms though, don't you? Just because they're empty doesn't mean I don't need them. You piece of shit! Oh, damn it! Oh, stop! Pacifica stomps on Anya's face. Yoru looks on curiously for a while before she turns around to look at me. Looks like I'm in a pickle, huh? She just says that. Her eyes pierce right through me. That's when I say something all too naturally, almost by reflex, and as if I had prepared a script beforehand. Why don't you stay at my place? Temporarily, I mean. Why did I say something like that? Even Anya and Pacifica both seem surprised by my proactive suggestion. Anya, I don't even know what I meant when I said temporarily, I mean. Anya, Pacifica, and I are probably all thinking the same thing. What does temporarily even mean? I can't look it up in the dictionary because there isn't one in this room. Besides, I've finally gotten sleepy. Temporarily means for a limited time. So in other words, once the time comes to pass, everything goes back to how it was. But how do I get that time to pass? I don't know. I'll discuss this with the others. I mutter that before I finally manage to start falling asleep. Not a very deep sleep, but it's still something you could call sleep. Sorry. Right before I fall asleep, I feel like I see and hear something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but this is what dreams are like, right? The music in this game is so good. She's not wearing her coat. Ugh, I kind of figured. That's too bad. More people, more problems. In the corner of the plaza at the center of town, Anya kicks some snow on the side of the street, sending shivers of ice scattering as she says that. I called the girls here, seeking advice. It's just Anya now, but Pacifica should be here eventually, too. Yeah, so what do you think I should do? I blankly watch as Anya plays with the snow as I ask for her opinion. She looks up and answers. I figured that'd be the case, but personally, I don't know. What do you think, Teach? Hey, hold her right there. Whoa, you spooked me. I was trying to be sneaky. And why are you calling me Teach now? Nothing wrong with calling the Teach, right, Sayako? Huh? Teach? So what do you need to discuss? What is it? No, wait. Let's take this somewhere warmer. Good idea. How about over there? Sure. Saves us the trip of walking since it's close. After a short delay, I follow their gazes to find some sort of establishment. A cafe, I guess. Ugh. A cafe. When I mull over the word on my head, I suddenly feel my stomach sink. On the other side of the lit window, countless shadows of ghosts, is that redundant? Make a commotion, signaling to me just how busy it is inside the cafe we're about to visit. A death sentence. Don't worry, it's mostly just people like us inside, people who aren't all too interested in their surroundings. It's also cheap, and they don't complain if you stay too long. You get what you pay for with the coffee, though. A cheap flavor you just can't get at home. Pacifica urges me on, saying, "Let's go." Well, sure. It'd be rude to call someone for help, only to make them stand and talk about it in the cold. We can't talk in my room since Zero's probably still in there, and it'd be shameless to ask to talk in Pacifica's house. Plus, I do think it's an experience I should give a chance to, so I can't find a valid reason to refuse. The sound of chatter in the cafe's background music gets closer and closer, though in reality, I'm the one getting closer to the sounds. Calm down. It's just a cafe. You've been in restaurants and shops and stuff before, right? Same thing. Pacifica and Anya rush into the noisy establishment. That's a lot of people. Wow. Oh, ow. The moment I pass the threshold, the chattering stops and the ghosts all fall silent. Let's leave. I tug on Pacifica's coat and manage to let out that whimper. I can't do it after all. Pacifica and Anya may be fine citizens, but I'm a burglar who raided the church, and if they're seen here with me, it could cause them trouble. Oh? Why? Sorry, could you move that chair for me? Thanks. Oh yes, that's good, thank you. Pacifica pushes her way through the crowd of ghosts. Anya follows behind. I follow too, reluctantly. We head all the way to the only empty table, a round table deep in the back, for the bathroom. We sit down. 3 normal coffees, please! Coming right up. At the sound of Pacifica's voice, the chatter resumes. The difference is shocking, but it also relaxes me a little. I'm sure everyone's lost interest in us. I suppose we're not that interesting after all. I still can't let my guard down, though. Sorry for the wait. Here it comes. Oh, well, if it isn't Anya from the repair shop, it's been 9,999 years, hasn't it, my lad? Ha ha ha, I'll murder you. Long time no see, Mr. Patel. How's business? I've been working from home a lot lately, so I haven't been able to patronize your establishment. It's fine, is what I'd like to say, but profit margins are thin with just coffee. Can I interest you in some sweets? That sounds good. Get something we can all share. I appreciate it. And last but not least, it's been a while since I've last seen you too, miss. I guess these two must be regulars here. But was I regular too at one point? Hello. For now, I bow my head. I guess that was satisfactory for him since he turns around and skillfully weaves his way through the crowd of ghosts. Hi nightmares, hi dear, how are you? Hope you're doing alright. Let me know if the volume's too high, too quiet. Okay, I suppose we've settled in. So what did you want to talk about? Oh, should I get you up to speed? No, it's fine. I want to hear from Sayako directly. Pacifica gracefully sips her coffee in a dignified manner, then signals with her eyes for me to talk. You're too low the game to start? Okay. I will turn down the game. 1 second. We'll put it down here. Thank you, Nightmares. Thank you, Nightmares. Oh, shoot. I forgot to turn myself back up. Yep, that's probably why. Okay. That's probably why. That's probably why. Alright, here we go. She then signals with her eyes for me to talk. Oops. Don't press spacebar. It's Z. Let me know if that's any better. She does kind of act like a teacher. And the smell of cheap coffee makes you think of a teacher's lounge. Better? Okay. Really makes me think about where I came from. I'm sure if I were alone, I'd be thinking about it all the way till morning. But right now, there's more pressing matters. You just don't vibe with her. Sayako, eventually you'll stop coming home, and your family will collapse. Your children will stray off the righteous path. First they'll get addicted to drugs, and the next thing you know, they're robbing trains. This isn't a joke, okay? They're taking this seriously, I think. They're just joking around to relieve some of the tension. So you two are living together, huh? That'd kill me. I agree. I'd say you seem more relaxed when you're by yourself. Are all ninjas lone wolves, or is it just you? How could she know, stupid? Ninjas even keep their personalities secret. That's what makes them cool, you know. You make a fine point. Anya from the repair shop, my lad. Oh, sorry. Right. Why don't we take turns housing Euro in our homes? I see. That might... No, that won't work. If it were me, it'd make me feel like I was being rented out to on an installment plan. An installment plan? You've got a point. It'd be like telling someone they're a liability. Anya nods in agreement. I suppose she's got a point. I feel a little ashamed of myself. It's like in the back of my head. I'm hoping someone will take Euro off my hands. Right. I read that really slow. I'd hate if I were the one being treated like someone else's oversized trash. Okay, let's break down the problem. Little Anya here. Little Anya, here, take some notes. Aye, ma'am. Pacifica takes a memo pad out of her pocket. You have a pen? Yep. Anya pulls out a pen, seemingly out of thin air. But stop calling me Little Anya. So first things first, living together isn't working out for Sayako. Okay. Sayako loves living alone. And Euro doesn't have a place to call her own. Let's see. Euro has no home. These two issues are intertwined, but they're actually separate matters, aren't they? If you solve one of them, the other will naturally disappear. Oh? I can't help but let out a voice of awe at the brilliance of our logic. I'm pretty sure I'm no good at this sort of logical thinking at all. It'd be nice if we could find an immediate solution, but that sounds hard. Let's approach the problem by tackling both issues at the same time. We've got no choice but to find a home for Yoru. I'll look around and see if there's any good places. Thank you. I'm always relying on your help. It's okay. Now about the other issue. I mean, Sayoko lives living alone? It's hard to deal with problems concerning someone's personal values, isn't it? That's not necessarily true. Say, Mr. Patel, what are you like when you're done with work? Well, when I'm done with work, I can stop making this dreamy customer service smile without an issue, you see. And once I get home, I sleep. Nothing else. I don't even say a word. Oh, my. Yeah, some jerks tell me to get a hobby, but when you're up for long hours thinking about things, you start to feel really crummy. I crawl inside my inner self. I converse with my inner self. Thanks for your thoughts. That's quite enough, actually. No, please let me continue. When I close my eyes, there's a big, pitch-black wall. I hear a voice calling for me, searching for me, but criticizing me. So I don't answer. No, I can't answer. As I said earlier, I don't even say a word. Hey, where's he going with this? I bear with it. I bear with it as I pray that I don't go mad. I keep praying until the sweet repose of sleep finally claims me. Beats me. Before work today, I sat in my car and cried at the wheel for just 3 minutes. You girls should give it a try. Oh, and I'd really appreciate if you'd realize that I'm late opening up on any given day. That's what I'm doing. I see. I'll give it a try. Please do. Anyway, here's an assortment of cookies for you. Enjoy yourselves. A little while after Mr. Patel leaves, it takes us a few moments of silence until we can ignore what just happened and move on. He needs medical help, preferably from someone patient and courteous. That enjoy yourselves almost sounded like a challenge. What are we talking about again? Work? We were talking about crying on the toilet to feel better, weren't we? No. Look, Sayoko. He might be a bit of a special case, but typically, most jobs aren't that bad. In fact, there's nothing better than to find a job that's perfect for you. Huh, you think so? When you come home after work a little tired, it changes your mood. And by earning money, you're likely to open up more opportunities. But I can just casually start working after... But can I just casually start working after all that chaos I caused? Nobody will try to kill me or anything. You just gotta kill them first. Good point. Astonishingly, I'm thinking pretty positively. Mr. Patel's despair, if that's the right word for it, has somehow given me a certain sort of courage. Not the same sort of courage I get when Pacifica and Anya are with me, but it's still courage nonetheless. Mwah. There's her smooch. Thank you for the smooch redeem, Echo. Yeah, I think I'll give it a shot. Does this town have a job search office or anything like that? Not that I know of, at least. But I guess that's more of Mrs. Pacifica's specialty here. Oh? What kind of work does Pacifica do anyway? It's kind of obvious what Anya does. But Pacifica's job is an enigma. It must be something important if she lives in such a big house. Pacifica seems like she could do anything. But what does she actually do? True, that sort of work is indeed one of my specialties. So that should help. Okay, let's give it our best, Sayako. Okay. I should ask her now. It's better than finding out later that I don't even know something as basic as that. Let me help too! Whoa, you spooked me! Hey, where'd you come from? I was hiding in the filthy sludge in your coffee cup. Oh, she's good. Are you people okay? Perfectly okay. All I'm saying is that while I'm rooming with Sayoko, I'm just a freeloader with nothing to do. Um, yeah, this bright white out of nowhere. How much did Euro hear? She probably just got here. Sayoko? I get what Anya's trying to say. Stretch? Introvert, thank you, Echo. Oh, let me move my mic. It's sitting all the way over here. You'd have to redeem that, Echo. Oh, well, look at that. 1 second. Sorry about that. Echo, you're a very, very good girl, and I'm very proud of you. You're a very, very good girl. Ugh. Okay. Excuse me. I get what Anya's trying to say. The reason for me getting a job would be to regain some personal space from Yoru. So it would defeat the point if she worked with me, wouldn't it? That's the point Anya's trying to make. Thank you for the lurk, Echo. Thank you, dear. Excuse me. Yeah, you could do something too. I hope we can both find a good place to work. Well, I only say that for my own sake. Yoru expressing a desire to work could imply a desire for independence. I just can't get in the way of that. In fact, I think I should be supportive of her. You sure? I'm sure. Whatever could you mean? I'm not that cruel. Okay, yeah, I think I was the kind of cruel back at the church earlier, but you know what I mean. I get the feeling Yoro would be quite good at handling interviews. Way better than me, anyway. I feel some sort of coarseness in my chest. Very well. A job for one and a job for two aren't that much different. I'll set you up before the day is done. So it'll be like a piece of coffee cake for you then. I suppose. Hey, is she like that at home too? Yeah, I feel for you. Vero says something completely unrelated to the topic at hand, taking Pacifica and Anya aback, but they try to keep a conversation going. I find myself at my wit's end. It's not like I'm feeling left out or anything. It's just that this sort of banter takes me back. As my consciousness starts to drift, I look outside the window. There's a good view of the plaza, including the towering missile in the middle of it. Maybe it's like a giant gravestone. The names of 1,024 ghosts are etched upon that missile. The husk of a weapon of mass destruction that failed to carry out its mission. From where I'm seated, I can't see the part that has my name on it. Okay, I know you two. You're the ninja girl. We even live in the same apartment complex. Pacifica said she'd set us up before the day is done. I thought she'd meant she'd get in touch with some contacts or something, but she even set us up with a same-day interview. She's truly amazing. Is that so? Our prospective place of work is a cosplay shop on the outskirts of town. We're in the back room of that shop right now. The employee interviewing us is a girl with a somewhat husky voice. She seems kind of punkish, so I was really nervous at first. But she has a very gentle, somewhat familiar way of talking, which is kind of relaxing. Yeah, I haven't seen you around lately, though. You've been staying away from home or something? Anyway, you on the other hand, I don't know your name. My name's Zero. I got it as a birthday present. Haha, I see. As a present, huh? Good for you. My name's Lauren. Call me Lo. Yep, it sure is good. Thanks, Lo. Lauren, or rather Lo, gets up from her seat. Now then, let's see. First I'll explain to you two how we bring in newly arrived stock and dispose of unsold stock. Yes, ma'am. Euro follows Lo's lead and gets up. I get up as well, and then the bell rings. Now that I think about it, that must mean the store door opened. It made the same sound when we came in, after all. Oh, looks like we've got a customer for once. Euro, go greet them or something. Aye, ma'am. Lo beckons me deeper into the shop. You sure about this? Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. It's much more fun to teach new recruits than it is to deal with customers. That's true. Lo peers into my brown eyes with her fair eyes. Lo is cute. I like Lo. I can feel my heart throbbing, for various reasons. Wouldn't you agree? Her slightly husky voice really matches her fashion sense. I think it's fitting and beautiful. I wonder how I can become more like her. I agree. I totally agree. In any case, there's no way I could disagree with her. So, let's see. First of all, that box over there is newly arrived stock. Okay. And that box over there is unsold stock to be disposed of. You with me so far? Oh, question. Go ahead, ask away. They're both empty, aren't they? Ah. Yeah, I guess we rarely do receive new stock or dispose of unsold stock. Huh? Actually, now that you mention it, when was the last time we had either of those things? Maybe 9,999 years ago? Yes? Sorry, can I ask another question? Are you sure this shop needs more workers? I can hear Lo gasp in realization. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and speaks slowly. Yeah, honestly, you're right. Business is so slow here, I've got plenty of downtime just working by myself. Then what do we do for work? Oh, sorry. Well, the manager seemed kind of frantic. Oh, sorry, never mind that. I guess you can, like, clean and stuff. Okay. Things get kind of awkward after that, so we both fall quiet. I think Lo's trying to come up with some sort of work for the two of us can do, but the fact that she's not saying anything probably means she can't think of anything. I wonder what that customer was doing. Or how that customer's doing. Oh, right. Sorry. I don't know what to say, so I just nod vaguely. Thank you! Right as though when I get back to the storefront, Euro lets out a cheer loud enough to drown out even the store's loud background music. What? What? You actually sold something? No way! It's been ages since our last sale. I'm surprised, of course, but Lo is even more surprised. Is this store really that unpopular? What did you sell? It must have been that frilly thing, right? No, it was the automatic rifle and the bulletproof vest. I said, you look marvelous with them, and the customer bought them. I see, I see. I guess it's finally time to get some new stock. So does it seem like it'll be tough working here? She actually says she realized that she's fully staffed already. I feel a little uncomfortable as I say that. I'm sure Yoru is quite employable as a customer service worker. I see. That's too bad. See you again sometime. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Feel free to drop by my room sometime, you two. But it looks like neither Yoru nor Lo seem to mind, so I guess it's all okay in the end. Be sure to turn the heater on. Yeah, I'll put it on full blast. Should I say something? And play some good music, too. I don't want to just say something and have it turn out weird. I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to avoid Yoru or anything. Though on second thought, I kind of am. But not in a bad way. Do I have the capability to convey such a nuanced thought? I can play a little piano, so I'll practice. I'd like to hear some stories from you two. I don't know. Lo herself was considering hiring Yoru for a customer service job, but it seems that she won't explain why she doesn't because of how obvious the reason is. Then again, they're both so kind that they'd probably explain it to me no matter how obvious it's supposed to be. Should I ask? No, maybe not. Okay, let's make it a night to remember. Bye! Sorry we couldn't help. Thank you for your time. I conclude that these two have way better judgment than I do. So it doesn't make a difference whether I say anything or not. Just making excuses, huh? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say those words out loud, but Yoru picks them up anyway. About what? I just felt like I've wronged you in some way, Sayoko, but I'm kind of sad since I don't know what it is. She's being a bit too conscientious. How do you say that word? You didn't do anything wrong, Yoru. It's getting late. There's nobody else on the streets but us. I'll do my best. Our conversation isn't quite lighting up, and neither are our footsteps. That doesn't stop even as we approach the plaza. I'm walking ahead of Yoru, but my slow pace slows down even more, and Yoru overtakes me. I stop in place. I look at a certain something. Huh? What's wrong? I step up the pace and catch up to Yoru. Oh, nothing. The thing I was looking at, the missile, is missing Yoru's name. I'm a little bit jealous, but I feel like something's off about it. We keep walking back on the way home. And as we walk, I think to myself, what would she want? Maybe I can just give the place to her. That's an option. You there, Sayoko? Yoru speaks up without turning around. I'm here. You can hear my footsteps, can't you? Hi, Ninetail. Hi, dear. How are you? It's good to see you. Hope you're doing alright. Please stay with me, okay? Hello. My chest is in pain, but the air I breathe in is so clean I feel both painful and cleansed. All in all, I feel satisfied. If only I could go to sleep and just die right now. But that's impossible. I can't die if I'm not even alive. You almost beat someone up? Oh my goodness. Was it the cricket? I'll try. There's no real meaning to this conversation. There's no real meaning to us either, I'm sure. You have an excuse? Well, what happened? Just meaningless ghosts walking around a ghost town near the break of dawn. We're almost home. No, the cricket is gone out? Oh, okay. Nice! It looks great on you. You're meant for this job. Oh my goodness. That's scary. Yeah, thank goodness Stone was at the bus stop. Yeah. Despite what Pacifica's saying, it's obvious that this outfit would look the same on anyone, no matter who's wearing it. She said she'd look for a job that's always short-staffed this time, and this is the result. Salvaging, searching the garbage heap for usable objects. Yoru and I are dressed in baggy yellow protective suits as we board the salvage truck. I silently curse these protective suits for being so hard to move in. The three other salvagers are all somewhat buff men. We're wearing their spare suits, which is why they don't fit. They keep bowing to Pacifica. Pacifica really is amazing at what she does. I'm not sure what exactly that is, but she does it well. Just in case, yeah, I would too. We're sectioned off in the back of the truck, with the men all sitting in the front of a bench seat. On a bench seat. Nobody says a word. I can more or less see the backs of the men's heads through the window, but they're not even moving a muscle. They seem quite polite with the influential Pacifica, but I get the feeling they'll be strict with newcomers like us. There's your smooch. Thank you for the smooch redeem, dear. Yeah. Suddenly, Yoru speaks up. Excuse me, can I ask a question? What? If you want us to explain, we can do it when we're there. Where does this bus go? Where does this bus go, you say? Things get awkward real quick. It's the awkward calm before the storm. You see, she's, Sorry. That's so funny. Did you hear what she said? I heard. Where does this bus go? That's hilarious. Good one. Well, you know, pleasure to work with you today. Yeah, no problem. We'll make splendid scrappers out of you. You mean super scavengers, right? Our official title is officially licensed garbage collector. Ugh, that's so boring. Okie dokie, artichoke. We'll be some real scrappy scrappers. You sure are a hoot. I can do nothing but watch as the scene unfolds in front of me. Actually, I'm not even sure if I can do that. She's just too dazzling. She's amazing. Simply amazing. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's clear they're all enjoying themselves. Excuse me. After some banter, we arrive at a place that's quite memorable to me in a certain sense. The truck parks by the fence surrounding the giant garbage dump on the outskirts of town. Baskets! I blink a few times before I realize what the man means. He's referring to the baskets made of aluminum or some other metal that were loaded into the back of the truck with us. Oh, okay. Yoru and I take the baskets as we hop out the back of the truck. I'm already starting to get tired of the baggy suits with lack of mobility. If we end up sticking with this job, I hope the first thing we do is to get properly fitting suits. As I think that to myself, I tumble and let out a weird yelp. Are you okay, ninja girl? I'm okay. Thanks to that little tumble, I snap back to my senses. Do we need these suits? It's hard to move in them. Yeah, but these are to protect against weird chemicals or radiation or something, right? But none of that actually matters since I'm a ghost after all. It'll still hurt, you know. And, it still kind of sucks to die, even if you know you'll come back to life, doesn't it? Come back to life? I'm not sure that's the right phrase. We're not alive to begin with. I mean, we're ghosts. So it's weird to say we'll come back to life. Well, you've got a point, but this suit's too baggy to move around in, so it'll be hard to work in it. So do I have to wear it? I mean, I've been here in normal clothes before nothing's happened to me. I'm sure they're just being overly cautious. In that case, I'll take mine off too. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is what it means to be a man. Whoa! Well, miss, if you insist, then it's perfectly fine. Do the work you want the way you want it. That's just how life is. I guess we can agree there. In other words, when life deals you cards, you gotta... Sorry, just be careful. Yes, sir! Work is just about what I expected. With basket and tongs in hand, we fish around the garbage for anything that seems useful. The garbage is piled up haphazardly, but nothing feels dirty. Nothing's rotten and there's not much of a smell. I'm starting to think that maybe this town just doesn't even have the bacteria and stuff necessary for rot to form. After all, this town only has ghosts in it. And this garbage heap only has things that aren't living. This is where all the town's resources originate from, and this is where all the town's resources eventually return. One of the men instructs me to search for electrical appliances. My instincts somehow tell me there's no good finds at my current location, so I distance myself from Yoru and the men who are searching through garbage within a set parameter. It's not because I can't handle hearing Yoru chatting and laughing with the men. At least, I don't think it is. I suddenly noticed a car windshield at my feet. Oh yeah, what about that car? Do things lost outside of town come back here too? Did that car get buried somewhere in this garbage pile after it exploded? If so, did it come back as individual parts or as a whole car? If it came back as parts, then maybe this windshield belongs to it. As I think that to myself, I notice there's a microwave oven caught underneath the windshield. Wonder why I didn't notice it earlier. I lift the windshield and hurl it somewhere. I hear the sound of glass shattering. I found a microwave. I rush back to the scavengers to report my find. It's the first big find of the day. Oh, was that sound you, Sayoko? Yes, the microwave was shielded by a windshield, so I threw it into the wind. I feel it forcing a laugh, so it comes out more like a spasm. The men try to say something, but it looks like they're speechless, so I can't help but groan. I'm not good with this kind of stuff. I feel like I've felt this way before, several times even. Have I never tried to improve? Or am I just unable to? I feel it's too late for me to know even at this point. To even know at this point. Once the truck's filled with buckets of garbage, or rather I suppose I should call them resources now, it makes several stops in the outskirts of town. Scavenger officers and workshops, I assume. Today was the best, thanks, miss. You're welcome. So what do you say, you two? Want to work with us? It's tough work, but we're happy to have you on board if you want. Sorry, but I don't think I'm cut out for this. My apologies. Thank you for your time. I see. It feels like they already knew what my answer would be, but they had to pretend they didn't. They have to pretend to uphold a pre-established harmony, I suppose. So, what about you, miss? Join us, we can play I Spy as we collect garbage. Hey, cut it out, it's her decision. I'm a little nervous. I'm sure Yor is all for it. And if she joins him, that means our relationship will change. Which is what I thought I wanted, but now I'm not so sure. I take a deep breath and look at Yoro from the side. If Sayuko's not in, then neither am I. Yoru! I have to say something. I want to object. I want to tell her that she's making the wrong decision. I'm sorry. Yoru apologizes. But for what? Why? I just don't know. I don't understand. Are you sure? Yeah, I agree. Are you sure? Pipe down, you. Sorry, but I've made up my mind. I'll come visit. Be sure to turn the heater on. And with that, Yoro starts walking. She grabs my wrist with surprising force coming from her slender arm. I manage to keep up with her despite stumbling a bit. Sayuko, the night's still young, so why don't we go visit Mrs. Pacifica's house? We have to report to her after all. I nod my head vaguely. Perhaps because I'm considering suggesting one more time that Yoro could work there. But I'm sure she has no intention of doing that, so there's no point in saying anything about it. You were so good at that job. You looked like you were having so much fun. So why did you reject their offer? I don't get it. I end up saying something vague instead. We should apologize to Pacifica when we see her, huh? I guess so. In the end, I don't say what I wanted. I see. I'm in Pacifica's good old living room again, facing her the same way a certain nun did once before. I'm sorry for wasting the time you spent searching for that job. I bow my head. So does Yoru. Sorry. It's fine, it's fine. The cosplay shop was kind of shady, and nobody wants to do garbage collection anyway. And those men are kind of dumb too. I can't speak for Yoru, but I can't say I see you doing that sort of work, Sayuko. When I look up, I see Pacifica's gentle smile. Thank goodness, she's not mad. She's perfectly calm. I'd probably be mad if I were in her shoes. I still feel sorry though. True. I just thought you'd have a plethora of options if we used my connections. Looks like this will be harder than I expected. Okay, once again. What exactly does Pacifica do? I want to ask that, but there's no way I can. But how can you expect me not to want to ask? I start to debate myself, but I stay silent in the end. There's no point in forcing yourself to do a job that you'll quit immediately. I think manual labor only shows its true advantages if you're employed in the long term. Just take your time searching. I'm so glad to have your help. You are too right. You are too, right, Sayuko? Huh? Yeah, I'm glad to have your help. Sorry for the trouble. We're friends, aren't we, Sayuko? I hear the front door start to open. It's probably Anya. Pacifica said she'd be here later. Anya said she'd try to find us work using her own personal connections, but she also said, my networking is poop compared to Pacifica, so don't expect much, she said before promising that she'd keep us in the loop. Oh, is Anya coming too? As I grin for the stupidest reason ever, Yoro speaks up to me. I nod vaguely in reply. Anya's as hard a worker as anyone else, so she should have connections of her own. But I suppose anyone's connections could look like poop compared to Pacifica's. Let's splash some hot water in this as a penalty for being late. Yay! She's kind of scary when you think about her like that. Pacifica hands Yoro a kettle full to the brim with hot water as she gleefully waits by the door. What if she's got a dreadful side to her that I don't know about? Wait, I guess it's obvious that she does have a dreadful side to her. But what's truly dreadful is not knowing what it is. When I do come to know that side of Pacifica, will I be able to keep loving her the same way I do? What if I told her all of this? I can only imagine the worst. I don't want her to hate me after all. Regardless of the path that brought us here, she's the one who reintroduced me to the outside world like this. Maybe I should discreetly ask Anya when she's here. I'm sure that'd be better than asking Pacifica herself. As soon as I make up my mind, the living room door opens loudly and... Don't move! A man shouts coldly as he barges in the room, tearing the casual mood to shreds. In his hands is a high-caliber pistol big enough to be used as a blunt weapon. All of us freeze and fall silent. Hey, Mort. The only people who can come visit my office without an appointment are top priority clients and my friends. And I don't have any top priority clients yet, so that means only my friends can visit unannounced. And you're not my friend. Please set up an appointment by phone and come again. You shitty bitch, you ruined a once-in-a-millennium business opportunity. How dare you? How dare you make that face at me? Please don't get the wrong idea. I only did my job. It's the truth that you cut corners, isn't it? If you came here to bark at me, you're barking up the wrong tree. Damn you! Put down that dangerous thing before you regret it. What? Do you have any idea what situation you're in? Wow, so cool. I had zoned out due to the surprise, but Yoro's ambiguous murmuring snaps me back to reality. We're up against one man. He must be tired holding up that gun or something, since his hand's trembling. I don't think he's used to wielding a gun. In any case, judging by his stout, protruding belly, he probably can't move very quickly. I didn't want that Gant bastard to beat me. I've done everything I could to win. But then you had to butt in and ruin everything. You're the one who leaked everything to the company, weren't you? That's right. I did my job. My hands are clean. How dare you say that when you've been using your position to line your own damn pockets with such outrageous margins? Everything will be fine. I can take this guy. The situation itself isn't good, but I'm happy at the possibility that I can be useful to Pacifica. So what do you want me to do? I want you to die. What's the point? I'll just come back. Come back, you know. Do you have the brain of a child, Mort? Pacifica's voice is cold. Cold enough to freeze the steam this man's been spouting. I can at least make you writhe in pain by filling you with lead. There's plenty of time to regain your company's trust. We've got all eternity, actually. Are you unable to make a rational decision? Shut up! Shut the hell up! Who gives a damn about your logic? How can you possibly know how I feel? The man's voice gets slightly teary. On the other hand, Pacifica's stance gets firmer and firmer, so much that I'm wondering if she can even see the gun in the man's hand. Oh, is that so? I understand. Allow me to make it up to you. Suddenly, Pacifica softens the tension in her voice. The man mumbles, but ends up not speaking. It seems like Pacifica intends to resolve this problem with money. I send her a look that says, there's no need to do that. Pacifica picks up on my signal, but she responds with a wink that I'm not clever enough to decipher. Pacifica picks up the pouch that was left on the table and starts rummaging through it. She then takes out a small tube. It's probably lipstick. If you're gonna pay out, then do it in cash. I'm done playing your games. Oh, that's too bad. Something shines in Pacifica's hand, and at the same time, a dry bang rings out. The man's gun hits the floor with a thunk. He then falls to the floor holding his shoulder. I'm all out of cash, but I've got plenty of lead. It's only when Pacifica says those words that I realize that the lipstick in her hand is actually a teeny tiny gun in disguise. If you'd like a second payment of lead, then by all means come and take it. Pacifica calmly asserts as she picks up the gun the man dropped and points it back at him. The gun looks too big for Pacifica's slender arm, but for some reason, it looks more deadly than when the man was holding it. The man mumbles and groans, but no intelligible words come out. He must be in too much pain to speak. I can't hear you! Pacifica kicks the groaning man. Specifically, she kicks his gunshot wound. Instead of screaming, the man's body twitches and convulses. His body is collapsed face up. After losing consciousness for a few seconds, the man tearfully pleads with Pacifica. Mercy! Please have mercy! It hurts! It hurts! Get lost. Now. And be sure to tell your little friends exactly what happened here. You hear me? Okay, I promise. Eep! Pacifica takes a step towards the man. It looks like the bullet still lodged into his shoulder. The man squirms to get some distance, perhaps having recalled the pain of being kicked in the gunshot wound moments earlier. Know your place, shithead! And with those final words, Pacifica shoves the sole of her boot as far up into the man's rear as physically possible. The man scuttles away surprisingly quick, as if borrowing the momentum from the kick. Whew. I look at Euro beside me. I kind of expected it, but her eyes are sparkling even more than I had imagined as she rushes up to Pacifica and hugs her. That was amazing! Say that line again. Hasta la vista, baby. I didn't say that. Yo, what I'd miss. Anya suddenly pops in through the door the man left wide open. Looks like things got kind of weird here. That what's his face guy was here, wasn't he? You saw him leave, didn't you? I've already taken care of him. Oh, and that thing worked like a charm. I'd like to order a dozen. I quite like that sort of thing. Oh, seriously? I'm quite proud of my handiwork on that one. I wish I could improve the shell ejection, though. I know it can't work out exactly like the movies, but still. What does Mrs. Pacifica do exactly? Yoro whispers in my ear. I feel ever so slightly relieved to know that she'd been wondering the exact same thing as me. I'm not sure, but she's probably some sort of agent. An agent? Of what? Something. Once that non-committal word leaves my lips, I realize I sound just like Yoru. It's kind of embarrassing. So, how'd the new job go? Looks like I wasn't a good match. You got any leads? Nope, nothing. Sorry, I tried looking, but everywhere I looked, places were neither understaffed nor overstaffed, just staffed. I see. I'm really sorry. No, I'm not blaming you or anything. I just think it's interesting. I know what you mean. This town just seems like a perfectly put together machine, meant exactly for the number of people in it. Maybe the town's just optimized that way since it's always had the same number of people. 1024. That's the ghost town's ghost population. With the addition of Yoru, that's 1025. Of those 1025 ghosts, 1023 are employed. Yoru and I are the only ones left out. Oh, but it did borrow that lemonade stand. Can a lemonade stand even make money in this cold as hell town? Are you sane? You didn't catch Clara's stupid, did you? Anya mumbles the story of how she originally made that lemonade stand as a set for a play, but as perfectly functional. Sorry, I guess it's not useful after all. Maybe I did catch Clara's stupid. Coffee, please! And with that, she throws herself onto the sofa. I'm sorry. I don't say it out loud, but I apologize again in the silence of my heart. Okay, okay. Would you two like some more as well? Yes, please. Hip hip caffeine. I'm not entirely sure what I'm apologizing for. I feel a vague sense of guilt, and it's not something I can solve by raiding the church again. I was powerless. No trip to Pacifica's house is complete without a cup of Pacifica's house blend coffee. These two have a proper role in this small town community. They seem so important. Wait, then what was my role before I became a shut-in? Well, in the worst case, Pacifica comes back from the kitchen after boiling some water and walks up to me with cups in hand. He could be my bodyguard. Being an agent is dangerous work, but with a ninja around, ruffians like that one should think twice before they show their faces, so... Okay. Aww. Relax. No need to make that face. Pacifica gently pinches my cheek with her fair, soft hand. Was I making that bad of a face? I guess so. But why? I'm flustered. I want to rebuke myself for not taking advantage of people's kindness like this all the time. I have nothing to offer. A bodyguard. I see. I never thought of that. Milk or dry, Sayoko? That's why, even if I become Pacifica's bodyguard, I'll never feel useful, no matter how many enemies I take down. It doesn't change the fact that I'd still be taking advantage of her kindness. Oh, we forgot to splash Anya with hot water. It's not too late, you know. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but please forget about it for the rest of eternity. I've got a suggestion for Yoro when we get home. If she's receptive to the suggestion, I'll discuss things further with her, as much as possible. That way, I'm sure even I'll be tired enough to fall asleep without having to worry about her snoring. I think to myself as I watch Yoro brandishing the kettle. We'll work for money! We'll work! As soon as I gave Yoro my suggestion, she energetically said, "Sounds good!" in less than what I think is a second. We can't just take advantage of Pacifica's help forever, so let's do some job hunting on our own. That was the main point of my suggestion. Yoro said, if we're gonna do it, we've gotta do it good. And then she made cardboard sandwich signs. No idea where she got the cardboard. I hid my astonishment at her craftsmanship. In my mind, I was applauding her. But her snoring is still way too loud. Her raw energy, both awake and asleep, is grating on the ears, which is why I don't praise her out loud. I don't know how many hours we've spent with those signs in hand. I figured that having something to do would serve as a good distraction, but in actuality, the cold, the fatigue, and the shame are just wearing down my mind. My nine-tail. But I honestly believe that this is what I can and should be doing right now. So we do this today, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. We keep standing and barking all around town. The end is near! Nuclear war! Buy gold! It seems like Yoro has had enough. I'm nearing the end of my rope, too. The town's workforce really must be saturated. Would anyone actually give work to job searchers with sandwich signs when every position's already filled? I just want to throw myself onto the snow and give up. That's when somebody calls out to us. Oh, Armageddon's coming, huh? You're always living on the edge, Yoro. I guess he's not calling out to us exactly. Just Yoro. And this isn't the first time someone's called out to her. While I've just been aimlessly wearing the sandwich sign, Yoro's been making acquaintances one by one, gradually assimilating into the town. Oh, Mr. Patel, how are you? Thanks for your help the other day. I feel a little better now. Not completely healed, but better. Thank you so much. Come visit the cafe again. You should hire us. Sorry, we've got enough workers as it is. I see. Be sure to tell us if there's ever an opening. Yeah, when the time comes. See you later. What happened the other day? I asked Yoro as I watched Mr. Patel leave. I listened to him talk about his issues. I didn't understand what he was saying, but I just nodded and said yeah to everything, and he seemed happy, so I guess it's all good. Is it, though? I'm sure he just wanted some validation from someone. Validation? Someone to tell you it's alright, you know? Is it really, though? Either way, he's doing his best, I think. You think so? Well, he looked happy, so I want to believe in him. As she says that, Yoro smiles ambiguously. Or maybe it's only ambiguous because I'm too dumb to understand it. But what I do understand is that her smile is awfully beautiful. It's so beautiful I'm jealous, almost resentful even. She's got such a beautiful smile. I'm sure she'll be able to find work. Unlike me. What? Oh, nothing. I'm gonna go over to that street. You stay at the plaza. As you command, my liege. I tottered her towards the back streets. It's not somewhere you'd expect someone looking for work to go. I just want to be alone. Although walking would cheer me up, but the more I walk, the more tired I become. So it looks like I'm playing a losing game. I remember a day long ago when I waited for the bus in the rain. I remember waiting 20 minutes for a bus that comes every 30. And fed up with waiting, I ended up taking the train home. Even though I knew the bus would be there in less than 10 minutes, I spent 15 minutes walking from the bus stop to the station to catch a train. By the time I realized I had wasted the effort of waiting 20 minutes, I had already been walking for some distance. I suppose I was just tired of staying in one place. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just ended up doing something. It feels disgusting not to understand yourself. I feel somewhat like how I felt that day. Whoa. As I turn a corner, I bump into someone. You were at the church. I recognize who it is. That's right. It's the man who stopped me by the entrance when I snuck into the church. I bribed him with mints, and then killed him. Hey, is that the ninja? Behind the man are 5 similarly dressed men. His friends, I suppose. Yeah, that's right. I see the men reach inside their coats, either for concealed guns or bladed weapons. Leave me alone! I ask to be left alone, but I have to admit, I am a little glad that a stress-relieving distraction has decided to waltz up to me. Lonely violence. Let some steam out and get paid for it. When I come back home with a broken sign and a little bit of cash, I am greeted by Yoro and some unfamiliar furniture. Where'd you get all this? Welcome home. I was given these. You were given them? Yep, I got some food, too. People said I can't employ you both, but I can give you this instead. Some people said they could employ one of us, but I guess it's hard to find anyone willing to employ us both. I see. Those misers, am I right? Ha ha ha. This is the difference between me and Yoru. Yoru's gained the goodwill of many, and even if they can't employ both of us, they can still help feel fulfilled. Meanwhile, I killed someone I've killed before, and then I killed his friends, and I robbed their bodies. Oh well, if nobody will hire us, let's just start our own business. Business, Sayoko, the ninja delivery service. How about it? It's a service where ninjas deliver things. Like, something. You don't need to stick around me anymore. Huh? I'm sure you can find plenty of jobs for yourself, Yoru. Lots of people love you. And as long as you're not with me, they'll gladly employ you. But there's no point unless I'm with you, Sayoko. Yoru looks confused and somewhat angry. I've never seen her make a face like that before, but I can't back down. Look, there's nothing I'm good at besides hurting others. That's probably the one and only thing I'm better than you at. There's work for you, but there's none for me. It's a truth that you're great, so what's the problem? But it won't do. It can do and it will. I don't want to feel miserable. I don't want to hate you, so please. I should leave, shouldn't I? If possible. Sayoko. What is it? Nothing. It's just... I got a live-in job offer for one, so I'm gonna do that. That'd be for the best. Thanks for having me. No problem. That said, it's getting late, so the two of us sleep in the same bed tonight. I guess ending a relationship is a more sluggish process than what you'd see on TV. Yoro unexpectedly sleeps quietly, neither snoring nor stirring. See, you can do it after all. After becoming the worst woman in the world, I mutter to myself as I feel her warmth in bed. Does that mean we're halfway through? GHOSTPIA. The little bumpers are cute. Okay, thanks for having me. You're welcome. Kathunk. The door shuts. It doesn't seem to shut in slow motion, and the sound of it shutting doesn't sound particularly sad, either. Feels like a relief, actually. I guess I really am a cold woman after all. It may have only been for a short while, but Yoro and I ate together and slept together, and yet I feel nothing now that she's gone. I space out for a few seconds, and then... Maybe I should have at least walked her out. I whisper an idea that comes way too late, but it feels like I'm lying to myself. If I walked her out and waved until she faded into the distance, it'd be so sad to look at her footsteps in the snow. At the very least, it'd be weird for me to do that when I'm the one who kicked her out. It'd be almost hypocritical, like I'm hiding my true feelings or something. My true feelings. That's right. I wanted Yoro to leave. It's not like I particularly enjoyed how I lived before Yoro moved in, but it's way better than living with someone who's loud all the time. After being in the negatives, I just wanted to return to zero. And now that Yoro's gone, my life is back to zero. For some reason, I feel like I needed to find a job, but I don't really need to. In short, the end goal was to get her out of my room, and now she has. The end. I didn't kick her out buck naked. I kicked her out after she had found herself a job and a new place to live. I'm sure I'll see her again in town eventually. We might even drink coffee together at Mr. Patel's cafe again. Maybe Yoro would vent about work. Maybe Pacifica and Anya will be there too and sympathize with her. Maybe the three of them will laugh. Maybe I'll even join in and laugh too. I imagine a future like that. Yep, we've settled everything peacefully. Congratulations, you've reached the most optimal solution. I'm sure it is. It probably is. Yes. Yes. I close my eyes and nod my head, trying to give myself validation. Yes. 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 The repeated nodding of my head makes me want to go lie down for a bit. Yes, you should go to sleep. Maybe that will cheer me up a little. That's right. Once I cheer up, I can go talk to Pacifica and Anya. Yes. My eyes snap open when the doorbell rings. I'm already up on my feet before I know it. Yoru? I feel irritated even as I reach out for the doorknob and open the door. Exactly! Ugh. Exactly what? Exactly. Standing there is the elderly man from way back when, which, as expected, is exactly the opposite of exactly what I expected. I can barely remember things about Pacifica, Anya, and even myself, and I quickly remember this elderly man. I know it's due to recency bias, but it still stings. I'm here to apply for the position of roommate. He smells like dirt, sweat, and a tinge of excrement. I furrow my eyebrows at the sudden affront on my lungs. Simply put, I heard there was an opening in this room. It's dangerous for a girlie to be living by her lonesome, so I'll move in to help you. No thanks. It's clear that he's not in the right of mind. Plus, he's got a knack at getting under my skin. Luckily, he doesn't seem to realize it himself. What's the matter? You hate strong men or something? From what I reckon, handsome old men get the tax benefits. Act now and I'll throw in one of those cricket things. Pull some weird giant spatula-looking thing out of his pocket and start swinging it around, only for it to slip out of his hands. I see it fly towards the stairs out of the corner of my eye. I originally lived by myself, so I don't need a roommate. I need to drive him away quickly before this becomes another bad experience. I've had enough of those. Ah, I know that, of course. The elderly man suddenly softens his speech. I knew you were all by your lonesome this whole time, little missy. And I know you're no longer alone no more. You changed for good. There ain't no going back to how you were, little missy. Now that you know about the holes in your art, you can't no longer exist by your lonesome. The elderly man speaks matter-of-factly as he strokes his beard. He accurately describes my current situation objectively and without emotion. Give me a second. Let me drink some water. He reminds me of one of my college professors. I wonder how he's doing. Wait, have I even gone to college? I think you're just like me, little missy. Your holes are my holes, and I've come to fill your holes. Holes? You mean... Yes, sirree, your holes! He suddenly shouts and makes an exaggerated gesture as he continues. A fine metaphor, if I do say so myself. I didn't prepare no script, but them's fine words, if I do say so myself. Hee hee! We are holes. Holes crudely dug out and crudely filled back up. We are holes. A crudely filled hole looks good, but it ain't the real thing, and it ain't got much of a purpose. But either way, it's still there. Holes. Well, sure enough, I do feel some holes have been poked into me. I have to admit, I do feel pretty hurt. Even if getting filled back up doesn't fix everything, it's still a relief just to exist, ain't it? I understand you, little missy. The two of us ain't that different after all. I'm very, very afraid right now, and the truth is, it'd be really reassuring if Yoru were by my side. Why did I open my big mouth and drive her away? Wait, no, all I did was pout a bit. Honestly, why was that enough to make her leave? Damn it, that ingrate shit. I'll give her a piece of my mind. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that at all. You really don't remember where you come from, little missy? That's another hole. Please, don't leave me by myself. In other words, the only thing that can fill your holes is someone else with holes like me. That way I can fill my own holes too. If being a loner is my style, then I should at least repent and ask for forgiveness. Can't you get yourself ready to see her again? I quickly back away when I realize the elderly man's grabbing my shoulder. I thought I'd shake him off, but his grip was stronger than I expected, so I just ended up stumbling slightly. Let me go! I need to see Yoru again. No! I ain't never letting you again. Cut it out already! When the man gets up in my face, I can't help but shut my eyes. What does he want with me? If he's here, then that means he knows where I live, which means I've got no place to run. My beloved precious. If this goes on any longer, I might as well. Damn noodle. Marzipan! I opened my eyes to the sound of the elderly man's death throes. It's slow. What's with this old man and filling holes? If you're that lonely, then fill your holes with pudding cups or something. Before my eyes is the elderly man, bleeding out from the head, and Lo holding a bat of some sort. It hasn't even been a week, so I easily recall her name, and honestly glad that I still remember. Oh, it's Lo, remember? I do remember. That's your nickname, right? And you live in the room above mine. I've forgotten her real name, but I guess that's no big deal. Oh, right. I mean, I wanted to say thanks. I failed to thank her properly, but I'm used to being a failure. In any case, the most important thing is that I'm free from the elderly man now. Are you okay? He didn't hurt you or anything, did he? I'm a-okay. I try to show her just how energetic I am, but it comes out awkwardly. Lo giggles. Well, I guess that wasn't a complete failure then. Seeing Lo's smile cheers me up a little too. Good. Be careful of perverts, okay? Oh, don't worry. I'll do something about him. Ugh, he stinks. Okay, thank you so much. No problem. You and Yuro come visit sometime, okay? Lo goes down the stairs, dragging the elderly man behind her. The man leaves behind a trail of blood. I'll come by when I've got the chance. I murmur a small reply. This house resembles Pacifica's house, but it's even bigger and somehow a little intimidating. I know the price of land is cheap here since it's a rural town, but I think you'd have to be pretty rich to have a house like this. This house is where Yoro works now. It apparently belongs to an elderly woman named Margaret. Obviously, I don't know anything about her. I don't have the guts to ring the doorbell. I guess I should have expected that. Instead, I pick up some snow by my feet and play around with it. If I ring the bell, I figure it'll either be Yoro who will answer it or someone else who can fetch her for me. I want to see Yoro and apologize to her. I want to tell her that I don't regret letting her live with me at all. Yeah. But that's just self-serving. I'd only be doing that to make me feel better about myself. So what should I change about my approach? Maybe if I tell Yoro how I feel, she'll cheer up a little. It's not like our relationship can get any worse. Maybe it's worth a shot. But what if it's not? What if I just make Yoro feel even worse? Now that I think about it, interpersonal relationships don't bottom out at 0. They often run into the negatives. Once the snowball in my hands is as dense as it can be, I chuck it away. If that's the case, then she might snap at me and ask why I'd say something to drive her away. I'm scared. I want to go home, but I can't just leave. So I pick up some fresh snow, pack it into another snowball, and hurl that one too. Now there's no more snow at my feet. I consider picking up dirt and making a mud ball, but that's when the door opens. Oh, hi Sayoko. Oh, hi. It's okay. I'm doing perfectly fine. No need to worry about me. Oh, no, that's not why I came. After some assistance, I got paid in advance, so I'm good with living expenses. That said, I don't have much in terms of living expenses since it's a live-in job. Yoro gives an ambiguous chuckle. I know my sixth sense could use some glasses, but even I can kind of tell that her laughter is forced. No, that's not it. There's just something I wanted to talk about, and just who gave you permission to talk? I'm sorry. The elderly woman lets out a hoarse voice. Are you distracting her? I've paid good money to hire that pet sitter, so don't you try and make... Sorry, my voice is so scratchy. Make a fool out of me? Don't mock me! She comes snapping at me, almost pushing Yoro to the side. So Yoro's a pet sitter. She doesn't seem like she'd be good with animals. She does seem like she'd be good with animals. I'm not paying her to talk on the clock. Are you gonna pay her for a lost time? Don't mock me. Sure enough, yours holding a leash. But the pet, on the other hand... I'm sorry. Very well, I'll let you have the hook just this once. Don't take me for a fool. The elderly just love giving me an earful. The elderly just love giving me an earful today, huh? Are all the elderly town ghosts like this? I don't have much experience handling the elderly, so all I can do is apologize and regret coming here without a plan. The elderly woman, or rather Margaret, looks like she isn't finished talking, but Yoro cheerfully chimes in as if to interrupt her. I'll go take Rocky on a walk now, okay? Right, she's a professional pet sitter now. An unemployed person like me shouldn't distract her. That's not Rocky! Margaret shrieks hysterically. For a second, I have no idea what's happening. Rather, I do realize that Margaret just hit Yoro with her cane, but my brain freezes for a few seconds processing why she did that. The violence seemed to come to her all too naturally. Margaret hit Yoro in the face with her cane as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Well, that's only half of it. The other half has got to be because of the pet I see on the hand of the leash. Both my brain and body freeze in place. McCready. I'm sorry. No, that's Biscuit. Are you blind? Can't you tell the boys from the girls? What's your problem? Don't take me for a fool. It's a potato? Oh, it's a lump of clay. It's a brown lump of clay tied to a rope. I'm sorry. Why can't you tell just by looking? That's clearly a girl. Haha. It's clearly a lump of clay. A genderless, inorganic lump. Anyway, we'll be going on that walk. I won't accept any slacking off, okay? And I'll know. Put your heart into it. The heart is key! If it weren't for Yoro whispering, "Let's go," I probably would have been stuck standing there in shock of the bizarre situation. Oh, right. Okay. I follow after Yoro when she's walked several steps dragging along Biscuit, or rather, the lump of clay on a string. So, about Biscuit. This is just a lump of clay. Yoro nonchalantly states the obvious. There are others like it, but Miss Margaret says she can tell them apart. There are others? Yeah, Miss Margaret takes care of about 100 of them in total, and they all have names, but she says it's hard for her to walk them all. 100? That's nowhere near 1,025, but that's still a lot of pets. But why is she naming lumps of clay and keeping them as pets? They don't eat, they don't poop, and they don't bark either. What a ground-breaking pet these pet clays are. Ah. Was I thinking out loud again? I'm psychic. Yoro playfully continues. My job is to walk them all, and help Miss Margaret around the house too. Wouldn't it be more efficient to walk them all at once? It's the heart, apparently. The heart? Yeah, apparently walking them all at once is proof of being heartless, and it's a bad influence on the pet clays. I don't get it. I know, right? But I get money and a place to live, so I'll do my best. I'm quite good at menial jobs like this anyway. But she hit you with a cane. I know the lady's not strong enough to kill me. But still! She's treating you like a slave, isn't she? You should quit. Dragging around lumps of clay all day isn't proper work. I can't. I got paid plenty in advance and I already bought several things. That'd be skipping the bill. Let me take care of it. I'll throw something sharp into her and then... I stumble over my words, and then I stumble to the ground. This isn't work. All I'm capable of is terror and destruction. That's not what Yoro needs right now. She's chosen to live in this town as one of the town's ghosts. to live among us in peace, with her own role to play. Thank you. I'm glad you care about me. As Zero speaks, her face looks tired, yet lively. It makes me feel like my tiny regrets are nothing more than insignificant digits truncated several places after the decimal point. So I decide not to say anything. Zero is independent now, so I need to be independent too. By the way, how deep in debt are you? Despite my decision to be independent, I stubbornly ask that question. I ask because I figure if I can find work for myself and save enough money, maybe I can take her back, or at the very least get her a more decent job. It wouldn't be bad to work towards a goal like that. Yo starts counting at the money on her fingers. Eat! Yo comes up with a figure that far exceeds my expectations. It's enough money to buy 2 decent cars, or 1 good car. What'd you use that money on? Several things. I figured I might as well since I've got nowhere else to go, so... So? So I splurged a little. Oh, come on. That's right. I forgot how I'm not used to this girl's thoughtless optimism. You must go work time? Okay, Nightmares. Thank you for being here. It is currently 9 p.m. But it's always good to see you, dear. Mwah. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Once Aurora makes a lap around town, she goes back to Margaret's house to pick up a new pet, Clay, to walk. While I could tag around with her for another lap, I decided to go back home instead. I can't even bring myself to watch her walk away. It's just so frustrating I can't watch. If I did, I'm sure I'd start plotting ways to physically persuade that elderly woman. I know, if I happened to change my mind before I got to my destination, I could always choose to go to Pacifica or Anya for advice. But then again, after all the work those two did to help us out, Yoro found a live-in job by herself, and I lost my reason to look for work. I don't know what sort of face I should put on when I report back to them. But I do know I need to report back to them soon. And with that thought in mind, I gaze at the missile as I cross through the plaza. Ah. A familiar girl drops a cardboard box which makes a distinct plop characteristic to cardboard. She looks this way, not at me, but through me, as if looking into the past. She's afraid. Even someone as dense as me can tell that. Her name's Clara. The nun who got that impressive collection of bullet holes when I used her as my substitute. The nun who called me a poophead right before she got that impressive collection of bullet holes. I felt we had reached a mutual understanding for that short moment, but I don't think that's quite right. There's something I've been meaning to say. Clara desperately stammers. Paper flowers spill out of the cardboard box at her feet. Wait, she's not even officially a nun, is she? Then what exactly does she do? What's her role? What's her source of income? Ever since I started looking for work, I've been thinking these questions about everyone I run into. What is it? I decide to reply for now. Honestly, it'd make me feel a little better if she were to say something like, "It's my turn to murder you, so you best be prepared." I'm sorry. Huh? That's not what I was expecting her to say at all, so I found myself at a loss for words. I did some thinking after that happened, like what I did wrong to make you so mad. Clara starts talking with tears in her eyes. It's not your fault. I must have done something wrong. I'm so sorry. I've no idea what to think. I haven't even thought about thinking. It's like I'm just churning out cookie-cutter answers. I don't blame you for what you've done, so please don't worry about it. How can she be so self-sacrificial? How can her heart be so pure? Is that what she wants me to think? Ha ha ha. Don't make me smack you. But let's talk things out with words instead of violence this time. Please come visit the church. We have tea and yummy sweets. You can make friends, laugh, have fun. The ideal girl speaks of her ideals with an idyllic look on her face. Give me a break. None of that stuff is what I need. My boundless rage actually calms me down. It also gives me a sudden flash of inspiration. My thoughts freeze over and become clear, like ice free of any impurities. You're right, Clara. I'm sorry about what I did earlier. Oh. I hug Clara. Her body stiffens for the first few seconds, but she relaxes soon enough. Clara is small and smells like a sweet-scented candle you'd buy at a cozy general store. For now, I wipe the snow off my hands on the back of her coat. I'm so relieved to hear you say that. Let's be friends from now on. I act out the cookie-cutter answer she wants to hear. It's as if there's no Sayoko nor Clara here. It's as if we're just actors acting out an ideal script in the center of the plaza. I'm so happy. My love finally got through to you, right? Yes, that's right, Clara. By the way, I'm in a bit of trouble now, you see. Oh, I can help. I thank her and let go, ending our embrace. The sweet smell fades into the distance, giving my lungs a bit of relief. You see, I place a hand on Clara's shoulder and give her the most troubled look I can muster. I peer into her pale eyes and establish firm eye contact. My role here is a pitiful person in need of help, and your role is someone who can give me that help. Hi, J-Ben. Hi, dear. How are you? Good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. You understand? It's about money, you see. Money? I give her a truthful summary about the current state of affairs. I make sure to highlight how Yoro is being unfairly treated like a slave at her job. And I don't forget to mention how she's being subjected to casual violence. I firmly emphasize those 2 points. No way! Poor Yoru! So I want to help Yoru pay her debts, but it's too large of a sum for me alone. I put more force into my grip on her shoulder. I try, but fail to cry on command. It was worth a shot, though. To help me pay for half so we can reclaim Yoro's freedom. I think I pulled it off. Huh? You're my only hope. I squeeze out the most pitiable voice I can muster. I need you. Keep going. You're the only one I can talk to. More. Sister. Now for the finishing touch. Let's work together for the first time. Okay, let's do this. Too easy. I do feel sorry for her. But any time spent wondering about how she feels is time wasted. What good can come out of that anyway? You wouldn't wonder about how the numbers you type into a spreadsheet feel. Same thing. I will try. How much money do I need to bring? Okay, first, don't be alarmed when I tell you the amount. I tell her half of the necessary amount. Times 2. In other words, the full amount, reducing the amount of work I have to do to 0. It's not that I don't want to work, it's just that it feels right for Clara to pay up that much. I'm sure if I told Pacifica and Anya about it. Nice, but it'd be even nicer if you doubled the amount. You're a friend I can be proud of. Yep, that's what the Pacifica and Anya in my mind are saying. Is this a malicious scam? Perhaps. But Clara must think she's performed for me and that I trust her enough to share my concerns with her. And that's the ideal response that an ideal girl should make? I'm sure you know what you must do, Clara. I understand. Also, don't tell anyone else. This is for your ears only. It's our little secret. But wouldn't it be better to get a lot of people to help? We can't. Listen, if you betray me, I might get violent again like last time. I think I feel Clara's shoulders stiffen when she hears the words last time. She hasn't forgotten the terror. I think it's far easier to forget things like love and happiness than it is to forget terror. Terror dulls your decision-making skills, and Clara's already dull as it is, which I guess is why I'm able to handle her so easily. But I don't have that much money. You really should get more people to help. Don't say a word to anyone. I shoot a piercing glaze through Clara's big, bewildered eyes. But I've never seen that much money. Oh. Clara? No, it's nothing. That money is off limits. I hug Clara tight as she murmurs those words, just like Pacifica once did. Then I whisper in her ear, Say, Clara, we're friends, aren't we? We've forgiven each other. We're almost the same age. We're true friends forever, aren't we? I randomly say whatever words might make Clara happy, as if I'm trying to find a specific website on a search engine. We sure are. Clara's body trembles slightly. I don't know if it's what I said, or if my breath simply tickled her ear. Either way, it doesn't matter. Once this whole incident is over, let's plan out all the things we can do together. Clara starts squirming more and more in my embrace. Just think of all the things we can do. I can't wait for us to plan everything out. Together, of course. Just the two of us in my room. A sleepover. We'll be together until morning. And even so, I neither strengthen nor loosen my grasp on her, as if the embrace were completely natural. Oh, I wonder what you'll sound like as you snooze in my arms. Clara twitches, squirms, and then stops resisting. The priest has money saved up for everyone in case of an emergency. That's sure to be enough, and I... Go on? I'm in charge of looking at the money every once in a while. If I don't, it'll disappear, like all the other stuff here, so... Clara, the next time I have to look at the money, I can bring it out. Thank you. I feel bad for the priest, but this is surely good use of the money, right? God will surely forgive me, right? I'm sure he will. I'll pray that he forgives you too. Okay. Okay, see you later then. Let's regroup at my place when we've got the money. Okay. I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna go home and sleep. Good night. Good night. That conversation was 99% lies, but the last part was true. I really am tired. Not out of guilt or anything, I'm just tired from all this concentrating. Once I managed to get back home, I toss myself onto the bed and go to sleep with my coat still on. I feel sleepier than the night I got back from that movie theater on the hill. Sleepier than the night I finally got a potential job offer from a company and informed the university. Sleepier than that morning after I dragged two friends' corpses through the snow back to town. Sleepier than the morning after I committed a massacre in the church. Wait, did I do all those things? No, that wasn't me. It must have been things I heard from someone else that I've mistaken for my own memories. Right, that's gotta be it. Anyway, I think I'm far sleepier now than I was for any of those various events. When the doorbell rings, the three of us packed into my room get excited. Pacifica, the pizza's here. It took them longer than 15 minutes, so they got to give it to us for free. Yeah. So, Sayoko. On it. The two of them hide behind the bed where they can't be seen from the door. I shoot them a glance and open the door. Here it is. Clara's standing there with a glimmer in her eyes. They're glimmering a little too much, actually. It's not like her. I guess her body must be all riled up from the naughtiness of betraying her people. I'm pretty sure adrenaline or whatever would do that to you. There's a big travel bag by Clara's feet. Really? Wow, let's see it. Let's see it so I can count. With difficulty, Clara picks up the heavy bag and hands it to me. So, have we come to understand each other? Are we friends now? I suppose you could say that, but you must be tired, so go home and get a good day's sleep. This is your home, right? I don't have any other plans today, so, Cause eyes moisten slightly, as if she's expecting something. Several somethings, even. Sorry, but I can't live up to those expectations. Oh, I see. Should we go hand over the money together? Carl looks at me with upturned eyes as he tries to read my facial expression. The elderly man, the elderly woman, Mr. Patel, and just about every other town's ghost is little bit lonely. Even with her social position in her community, Clara's no exception. That said, I guess it'd be kind of ironic for a ghost to live a fulfilling life with lots of friends. Oh, I think that's a good idea. But, well, we ninjas work alone, you know. Maybe next time. Good night. Well, whatever. There's no point in pitying something you barely know, right? Just for a moment, I think about what'll happen to her standing now that she's handed over the community's money to the enemy. She might lose her position as everyone's beloved nun in training. Oh well. I think about it for just a moment, and then I shut the door. I hear cheering from behind me. That was some real rock and roll stuff there! You totally broke her spirit. I give you 10,000 out of 100 points. That's 1,000 times more than the maximum score, Teach. Wahaha! It's 100 times more, you absolute poophead. Was that? Okay. That was an absolute garbage move, I'd say. But it's Clara we're talking about, so... Exactly. Sorry, not sorry. Yep. I need to muster up a lot of courage to open up to Pacifica and Nani about this whole thing. But they accept my decision without judging me. After strengthening our bond over our shared malice towards Clara, we're in a completely celebratory mood. It's a total victory for the type of woman who loves seeing cute girls loved by everyone fall flat on their faces. Thanks, you two. Don't mention it. All we did was watch. It's probably been about a month. Calendars don't exist in this town. I don't know if it's because of that, but the very concept of time is ambiguous in this town. We all pretty much decide things with relative terms like today. Like today. Tomorrow, tomorrow's tomorrow, and tomorrow's tomorrow. And so forth, I suppose. Excuse me. But it seems that even in a town like this, the concepts of past and future vaguely exist. However vague time may be, it definitely took time for Clara to go gather the money and for the three of us to go get together again like this. And using that time to walk around inanimate pet clays isn't a good way to spend it. I'm sure that girl would be much happier to live her time freely. Alrighty then, but time to go slam that cash in the old hag's face. We've got to get back to work though. Oh, I've got to get back to work. You better, I'm still waiting on those goods. I know, just give me a bit more time. Pacifica and Anya part ways at the entrance to the apartment complex. I'm the ninja of justice who will save Yoru. On the way to Yoru's workplace, I murmur conceited one-liners to myself. I'm just that elated right now. So elated, I forget to pay attention to my surroundings. Hey, are ninjas normally for justice or evil? Whoa! I'm so distracted I forget to even consider the fact that the town's small enough that Yoru might be nearby in one of her pet clay walks and hear me murmuring to myself. Jeepers! People don't say jeepers when they're surprised these days, you know. Well, I've just got a lot on my mind I heard concerning news that my former roommate bamboozled a girl into embezzling an organization's funds. Oof. She's joking. Euro giggles before collecting herself enough to continue. But thanks, I'm happy you went to such length for me. She smiles at me. That alone is enough to make me feel that it was worth the effort. So should we go pay the money now? Well, you see, that money's not enough anymore. It turns out I'm kind of a klutz. See, I broke some dishes, wasted some seasonings, and killed Biscuit. Remind me who Biscuit is again? One of the poops. Miss Margaret demanded compensatory damages, I think, and so that's more money added to my debt. No way! What a scumbag employer. No, it's far beyond that. She's just abusing and exploiting her. I've blown my lid at employers who require punching out during breaks, but this is on a completely different level. The only thing you can do at a workplace like that is to get as far away from it as possible. Euro doesn't belong in that house. I'm reminded of that fact. It might seem like she has no other place to stay besides that house, but that's not the entire truth. I understand. In that case, allow me to ask a hypothetical question. What would you think if someone wanted to live with you? I'd be happy, but I can't leave the place where I'm at right now. Why not? Without thinking, I grab Euro by the collar and bark in her face. There's no possible way you can be happy somewhere you're neglected, exploited, and abused. That lady's been truly alone this whole time. She's so sad. Sure, she's incontinent. She stinks and she makes no sense. But I think I can understand why she turned out that way. You think you can fix that person? No, I don't think I can fix her. But even if I can't heal her, maybe I can alleviate her pain. In that sense, I don't think it's entirely meaningless for me to be there. That doesn't solve anything. Now instead of having one unhappy person, you've got two. There are tons of unhappy people. What difference does one more make? That's not the point! I don't think it's a bad idea to confront sadness rather than pretend that everything's okay. That's why I think this town is a good place. Is that why you came to this town, Yoru? Is that your goal? I don't have a goal, just like you, Sayoko. But I do. You have a goal? Yeah, and that goal is to live with you back in that room. We're ghosts. Hollow specters. We're so empty, we often lose sight of the very fact that we are ghosts. To live with you and grumble about my cramped bed, and to meet up with friends every now and then to joke around like idiots. And if I'm hollow, then I'm free to fill the void with whatever the hell I want. But you just... I can't even fill the void with downright lies if... I can even fill the void with downright lies if I see fit. I gently place my finger on Euro's forehead. That's right. I just made up that goal on the spot. I also made up your name on the spot, so it's a little late to sweat the small stuff like that, you know. Euro smiles awkwardly and giggles as if she can't find a reason to argue with me there. Looks like you finally admit it now, huh? Euro copies me and places her index finger on my forehead as well. If I tell you to get down, okay? Yo, long time no see. Actually, I guess it hasn't been that long, huh? I feel so old. My sense of time has been so vague lately. That was a close one the other day, huh? You okay? I need guns. Huh? Lots of guns. I say that as I slam the blood and mud-stained paper bills I stole from the usual men onto the counter. Why do I get the feeling you're using blood money to spill more blood? Do you hate that sort of thing? Lil lets out a big sigh. But it doesn't feel like a sigh of disgust at all. I love it. I'll take all your bullets too. Woohoo! I carry all the guns my money could buy as I run towards old lady Margaret's house. My feet feel so light, I think to myself as I run. Something like this has happened once before, long ago. Or was it more recently? In the end, I guess there's no way to free her without resorting to violence. Some people force their will upon reality against the desires of others using power, pain, and despair. If I came across someone like that, I'd probably despise them. I'd hate their guts. But I feel like I've been enduring something like that this whole time, and I hate it. I guess I'm worthless after all. Yora herself chose to stay in a place like that, so shouldn't that be good enough for me? And I noticed that I've stopped running. Sorry. I've noticed that I've stopped running. How long have I been standing still? I spent several seconds cursing myself for not even knowing what exactly it is I want to do. I know full well that what I'm doing isn't right. I mutter those words before dashing off once again. And that's why I have to do it. I don't slow down. In fact, I speed up, but my feet feel incredibly heavy. Thick curtains are drawn on the other side of the window. They probably serve to protect the inside from the cold, but they also prevent me from seeing what's going on inside. But regardless, this is the optimal point of entry for a home invasion. That's the conclusion I've come to after scoping the house out for a while. This is probably the living room window. If Euro's right, then this is where Margaret watches TV all day. I shout and shoot the glass window. Okay, I gotta finish things up in a second or less. Sharamoya! I break through the cracked glass and jump inside. The air is humid and contaminated by the stench of human waste and clay. As soon as the foul odor hits my nose, I'm already yelling my next line. Get down! When I pull the trigger, all I experience is a loud sound and the force of recoil. Huh? What? But what anyone on the opposite side of the barrel experiences is a horizontal sweep of fully automatic gunfire. Oh, Kiwi! Oh, come on! When I see Euro fall down with holes blown in her guts, the first thing I feel is rage. Frustration that things didn't go as we had planned in advance, as if one boy simply didn't sing at the choir competition. Though I guess I didn't sing either. Why should I even sing out loud in front of other people? What's even the point of choir competitions? I don't get it. To vent my frustrations, I kick over a table, sending a lump of clay into the air. When it smacks Euro in the face, she goes, bleh, and stops moving completely. This sounds so goofy. It makes me laugh a little. If only Yora was still around to hear herself, I'm sure she'd be laughing with me. Things go silent for a while, and then my honed senses are barely able to pick up the sound of running water. A flushing toilet, actually. You! Where did you break this time? You thought I wouldn't notice, did you? Don't make me for a fool. The door to what seems to be a stairwell opens up, and out comes Margaret. You! I fire at her feet. The elderly woman screams and pitifully falls flat on her face. I don't even want to think about where the bullets landed or if they pierced all the way through. Run! Run away! Don't just space out! She's actually showing concern for Yoru, urging her to run. I guess she can't see Yoru's corpse from where she's fallen. You treated her so roughly, and now you care? You don't understand. I was raising her with love. She's either lying to me, or she's just lying to herself like the senile elderly woman she is. Either way, I ignore her. Everyone has their own definition of love, which is why conflicts and misfortune happen. That's what I think, anyway. She was such a kind, gentle, good girl, always by my side. The first kid I ever wanted to succeed me. I'm sure she could inherit what my generation accomplished. By sharing my hardships, she can become just like me. After saying that, the elderly woman bends backwards as far as she can to lift up her upper body. It lets out an anguished groan, as if she's trying to get her voice heard by someone, but she can't bend backwards for long. I guess the pain of being shot is far too much for her to bear. How dare you speak of love when you've never even considered how she feels? I look down upon the woman both literally and figuratively as she groans in pain. I guess I'm getting emotional because of the extraneous thought that if someone else were to see my attempt at rescuing Yoru, they'd have a hard time understanding where I'm coming from. Do you think that girl had any choice but to accept my love? The elderly woman creeps on the floor as she speaks. That girl only has me, and I only have that girl. The meaning of those words catches me off guard a bit. Probably not in a good way. The elderly woman pulls a gun out of her pocket. A shot runs through my body as I fall backwards. I half-consciously pull the trigger on my rifle. Every sound seems delayed as it reaches my ears, though perhaps my senses are just oddly sensitive. Around the same time as my shoulders hit the carpet, the other woman lets out a groan. I guess I actually hit her with that shot in the dark. I feel something soft underneath my head. At first I think it's poop, but maybe it's just clay. Or maybe it really is poop. Gross. There are several things I want to make sure of right now, but it doesn't look like I can. That's because I'm quickly losing consciousness. I'm close to death, even. The elderly woman's got some skills, huh? I guess every woman in this town is tough. Every last one of you takes me for a fool, but you know what? I've got a mind of my own. I take proper care of my pets. I even pay my taxes. I hear her shrill voice ranting and wheezing. I bet before long she's gonna die of blood loss herself. But my death's gonna be overwhelmingly quicker than hers. The voice from above must be heard. You think you can be a big shot who can defy the missile's voice from above? Don't take me for a fool. You're the fool, you damn criminal. If I experience every sort of death I can imagine, will that allow me to escape from this place? That strange thought comes to mind, and as soon as I think, yeah, no thanks, my consciousness fades away. You see, I've been vaguely awake for a little while, but my consciousness only starts to clearly form when I hear voices talking from far away. Voices. I know these voices. I realize that the voices belong to the scavengers, and that realization serves as a spark, or an electromotive force, or something that sets my thoughts into motion. Oh, you're awake. When I get up reflexively, but slowly, Yoro's there. If I tell you to get down, okay? That's why you ended up getting hit. I grumble a complaint. Oh, that's what you meant by get down? What else would I have meant? Well, oh. Yoro suddenly peers into my eyes as if she had just realized something important. What is it? I guess I'm not a good listener, huh? I let out a dry laugh. But not in a bad way or anything. I see. Well, the first step is to solving a problem is to acknowledge that there is a problem. Oh, you sound just like a counselor, Sayoko. Thanks to Yoro, I'm able to let out a proper laugh this time. She laughs too. Honestly, I think we're acting a little light-hearted for the people whose hearts just stopped. The scavengers wave and call out to us when they notice our voices. They seem a little spooked at first, but Yoro smoothly tells them we were just on a walk. She's an amazing talker, just a terrible listener. I interrupt before any idle chatter can start again. Can you give us a ride back home when you're finished with work? Sayoko. Yoro tries to interrupt, but I keep going. And by home, I mean our home. Yoro looks at me like she can't believe what I just said. A look of surprise mixed with joy. I feel a sense of desire. A desire for what, exactly? Material wealth? Food? Attention? Maybe something else? I do feel a little proud of myself, too, of course. Yeah, I don't mind, but... The leader seems a little hesitant to continue. I really ought to learn their names already. You'll help us finish that work, right? Of course. Yes, of course we'll help. The other two cheer behind their leader. I feel like cheering with them, but it's a little embarrassing, so I cheer silently. With work safely scored away, we sit in the back of the truck as it sways to and fro. I feel pleasantly tired, so I start to doze off. Say, Sayoko, do you think Anya still has a lemonade stand? Since she interrupted my nap, I answer a little rudely. I guess. Let's use that to start a business. Selling lemonade? Of course not, silly. Perhaps that's your imaginary little sister. Thrusting her finger at a patient is Zero wearing a white coat. Okay, next. There's a long line. Please pay here. I beckon the patient. Thank you, I feel so refreshed. He drops some coins into the palm of my hand. It's about enough to buy 2 cups of coffee at Mr. Patel's cafe. By the time I put the money in my register, or in the register, the next patient's exam has already begun. Whenever I wake up, I hear a man crying inside a car parked outside. Every single day, it's driving me mad. Perhaps that's just an imaginary man. I see. Okay, next. Please pay here. The payment is a flat sum. It's not expensive or anything, but considering the length of the line and the speedy service, it clearly adds up quickly. And it didn't even cost anything to start up. Despite the dirt cheap prices, not a single patient has doubted the authenticity of the medical exam. I suppose not many are brave enough to raise a complaint in the presence of the ninja who single-handedly subjugated the whole church. Oh, how are things going, Miss Bodyguard? Pacifica. I knew there would be a demand for such a service. It seems even I've been blindsided by your entrepreneurship. Well done. It was Yoro's idea. There's no point in selling something as low demand as lemonade. You have to sell something more essential. That was Yoro's basic idea. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay, but I just realized you asked what's up. I'm sorry. But, I'm good. We're playing some GHOSTPIA. Sorry, this is probably like 30 minutes late. But I'm good. I'm doing okay. I didn't do much today. I need to go on a walk tomorrow to the store or something. But I'm good. Sorry. The townsghosts are all alone. It's like they've got nobody to turn to for counseling. So you think you can make money off that? Will anyone pay? I do, and they will. That's the feeling I got as I interacted with that old lady. I summarized that conversation to Pacifica. Pacifico, won't listening to everyone's concerns make for a stressful job for her? Nope, there's no need to worry about that. Oh, that's a cut and dried answer. I guess I can appreciate her tenacity at least. No, it's not that she's tenacious or anything. I smile somewhat meanly. It's that she doesn't listen to others in the first place. Is that the end of it? Oh, okay. Oh. That kid and I talk about various things as we pedal our bikes. We have to shout in order to hear ourselves over the clamorous cars and the screeching cicadas. She talks about minor scandals between classmates, popular celebrities, clothes she wants, and other things like that. Topics that I don't really feel relevant to me. It's like we live in 2 different worlds, huh? She's popular, even with the boys. During break time, she talks so loudly with friends it's almost like it's a competition or something. Well, nobody ever steps up to anyone in her group. Her voice, in particular, is especially influential. It's almost like any kid who opposes her gets immediately crushed by her followers. Excuse me. At school, she's like a mafia boss straight out of a movie. I don't like her, and not just because of how cute she looks. In it, she invited me to go to the movies with her. But she's the same kid I've been with ever since kindergarten. The same kid who was so happy we were put into the same class when we moved up to elementary school. We used to get along since we were so alike, but before I knew it, our speech patterns and our social standings in class completely diverged. One day, when we were on cleaning duty together, we just so happened to get thirsty at the same time, and went back to the classroom for bottled water. That's when she invited me to go to the movies with her. Just you and me? I asked. Yes, she nodded. That's why I'm riding my bike right now. I somehow managed to keep up with her in my cute new sundress and sandals. It's not as refined as that kid, but it's passable, I'd say. I know it sounds like I'm not enjoying myself at all, but I really am. It's too hot outside. My favorite season is winter, which is on the exact opposite side of the calendar. But right now, I feel like there are good things to be enjoyed even in the middle of summer. The signal turns red at the last second, so I slam on the brakes. This is probably the last time the two of us can hang out. I'm sad, but I suppose it's only natural since we've grown to be too different from each other. A big truck passes in front of us, spreading its smelly exhaust fumes. Normally I grimace at the smell, but today I'll just deal with it. I don't want to bother her, so I won't draw this in my picture diary. I'll just keep this secret until the day I die. No, even longer than that. I wonder if that kid thinks that this will be our last time together, too. Maybe that's why I feel like I have to enjoy myself. You see, as I stare at the signal waiting for it to turn green, she speaks up somewhat quietly. Yes? My voice is quiet to begin with, so I don't know if she heard. It looks like I'm going to the movies with Hasegawa next week. That's amazing. It's not really that amazing. She blushes. Hasegawa, he's an athlete, and a sort of leader among the boys. I think he's the right fit for going to the movies with her. So is today like a practice run for that, date? She opens her big eyes even wider. She probably wasn't expecting me to say that. She lets out a spontaneous giggle. Maybe I said something I shouldn't have. If I had said it in the classroom, my school life would be in jeopardy starting the next day. But she smiles as if to tell me that there's no need to worry about something like that right now. Dunno. I see. The signal turns green. I start pedaling. I hope it goes well for you. I give her some lazy words of encouragement. You really think so? Not really. You know, I've always had a habit of saying things you don't really mean. This is probably the last time we'll hang out together. Nothing will change that fact, but I already think, so what? Oh, hello, Father. I can't remember last time you were the one who called me. How can I help you? We need to talk business. What, do you have a complaint about my business this late in the game? No, I want you to deal with that ninja. Now? I thought you would have given up by now. That's none of your business. Well, I suppose your men are useless after all. Indeed, that's why I need your help. Well, yes, it would indeed be child's play, for me that is. I just have about everything I need ready. Since I've allowed you to do whatever you pleased up until now, I assumed you'd agree to my request without a moment of hesitation. Very well, but in return... I know. Pacifica! It's Pacifica! What? The day we found a place to work at. The day I was lonely together with her. Okay, well, that episode was 2 hours long. So, I don't think we'll start episode 4. Oh, that was fast. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming tonight. That was I have fun. I like this game a lot. Um, I didn't think that'd be 2 whole hours. Because episode 1 and 2 were like an hour and a half each, but that's okay. But Pacifica's a double agent? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out next week. Next Thursday, I suppose. Right? Today's Thursday? Yes, today's Thursday. Okay. Let's find someone to raid. Is anyone else playing GHOSTPIA? No, it's just me. Okay. That's fine. Let's see who we've got. Lots of people. Oh, Ella's live. um. Let's see. Can we find any bears? Any other bears out there? We could raid French Kitty. She's playing Polia. That's cozy. But I haven't seen Elle in a long time. I haven't raided since for a long time actually. And they have a model now. We'll go say hi. We'll go say hi to Elle. You're back. Welcome back, J Bent. Hope we're doing all right. Hope we're doing all right. Hope your week's all right so far. Not really. I'm sorry to hear that, dear. We're gonna raid out because I wasn't expecting episode 3 to take 2 hours, but it did. So I thought we'd get through another episode today. But I'm hungry, so we're gonna raid Elle, and she's playing Space Vikings. I don't know what that is, but she's sweet, and I haven't seen her in a while. So we're gonna go say hi, and I'm gonna go get some food and go to bed. I love you all. Mwah. Thank you for coming, everyone. It's good to see you all. I love you all very much. Have a good night. Good night, J Bent. Sleep well, brush your teeth, drink water, and I will see you all tomorrow for. What is tomorrow? I think tomorrow's Cassette Beasts. So I'll see you tomorrow for some Cassette Beasts. And yeah. Bye bye. Be nice. And I'll see you all later. Bye bye.